Hi guys, my name is Rebecca, and today I wanted to share with you a few things that I've sold on eBay lately that have done really well, and thought that you might want to look out for them. I have been selling on eBay for probably 3 or 4 years. I'm not a high volume seller. I've never had more than 100 items in my store at one time. I just kind of sell things as they come to me or as I find them, to help supplement my income. And about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, my mom and my sister were wanting to kind of clean out their storage, mainly like with their childhood toys and things that they had been hanging on to for a while, just kind of pare down, thin things out. And they had originally thought, they would donate what was not going to be kept. But they knew that I was selling on eBay, and so they asked me first if there would be anything in there that I could sell. And so I was like, well, I don't know. I'll look up at anything. So I started with my mom, and she got out some of her toys. And as I was looking them up on eBay, come to find out they were worth some money. And she didn't think they'd be worth anything, and she was okay with just donating them. And it's just things like Barbies and Tammy dolls and little Dawn dolls and Sunday dolls and some collectible items. And so when she had a Tammy doll and a bunch of clothes and the box, and I had looked it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, these things are selling for so much money. So I sold hers first, and they went quickly. They went really quickly. I asked top dollar. I staged them well. I had put her Tammy doll and all the things that came with it on auction, thinking that would, since they were desirable, that would be the best route to go. And then I put a buy it now price of $120 on there as well. And I think it sold at the buy it now price the same day I listed it. And so I felt bad that I shouldn't have put a buy it now price on there. I should have made people go through the auction. But I learned my lesson, and so when my aunt was going through her toys, I did it correctly. So she also had a Tammy doll that I put on auction and did much better. And so I wanted to share a few of these things that you can be looking out for if you come across estate sales, or if your family's going through their keepsakes, or however you might happen to come across these things. If I could sell vintage toys exclusively, I would do it in a heartbeat. They're so much fun. They go so fast. People love them, and they're very, very profitable. So I'm going to be posting some pictures of what I've sold and their prices right here. And I'll just kind of go through a few of them. I did not keep a picture of every one of them, and I wish I would have. I wish I had a record on that, because eBay only holds those for 90 days and then they're gone. And so I really don't remember what they all were and how much they all sold for. I will start out with some Barbie accessories. I actually sold some of mine first. I kept some of my Barbies, but then there was a whole box of accessories that I was like, I don't need all this little stuff. And so I just sold the whole box for really quickly for like $30. And those were only like 20 years old. And so my mom and my sisters, most of their things were from the 60s and 70s. And so these Barbie accessories were either actual Barbie accessories, or they would go to bazaars when they were kids and pick out handmade items that they would use to play with their Barbies. And so I arranged them all, and they sold really fast for about $20 each lot. So I was very happy with that. It took a little bit of time to kind of arrange everything, but it was worth it to me for those to find a new home and be loved for much longer. And then my aunt's Tammy doll lot. She had a Barbie and a bunch of clothes and accessories and then the storage box. And so I learned my lesson from my mom, and I think I did set a buy it now price, but I put the price really high so that if I got that amount, I would be happy with it. But then, of course, had it on auction. And so it ended up, I've learned, I haven't done a lot of auctions, but I learned that a lot of people will watch it and then wait till, the last day to start bidding. And so for several days I was thinking, oh no, it's not doing so good. And dang it, I should have done something different. But if it doesn't sell, then I will do it different, when I relist it. So in the last 13 minutes, people started bidding, and the bid ended at $182.50. So I was very happy with that. My mom had a much bigger lot, and I could have got a lot more than the $120 that it sold for, but sometimes you have to learn the hard way. So I was very happy with that sale. And then, let's see, I sold some baby doll lots. My aunt had some baby dolls of various sizes with clothes. And so I sold a clothing and shoe lot without the baby doll for, I think it was also for $20. Yes, which I was happy with that. I mean, the clothes are from the 60s. They were not in pristine condition, so I was happy with $20. And then I sold a baby doll, a Unita baby doll that she was like 20 inches or 24 inches, and she had a bunch of clothes, and she sold for $65. I was very happy with that. So I would do that again. And then let's see. My aunt was born in Germany when they were stationed over there for a few years, and so she had a bunch of little German toys. And so I know you're not gonna find those at your average estate sale or thrift shop probably. But she had several, and they did really, really well. She had this little cat that was a little bitty, just a little small thing. It sold for $80. And then there was another cat that sold for $40. And then she had a little lamb that was the same size. And he sold for about $60. I did not write that one down again. I should have, but it was right at $60. And I still have a little squirrel left. It's just like a little tiny thing. And I think I probably overpriced him, but I'm willing to wait it out. He's small and he's cute, and so I might lower that price. But if you find those little vintage German toys, those are gold. She also had these dogs in a basket. Not necessarily a toy, maybe just like a collectible, and I did have to lower them. I started out high because I couldn't really find anything on them, and I just kind of kept lowering them a little bit, but they did sell for $38, and I was happy with that. Somebody had one of them as a kid and wanted another one to replace the one that they didn't have anymore. And so I love it when things can go to their new homes and be appreciated for a lot longer. Let's see. Oh, she had these little kittles. I had grown up calling them Sunday dolls. I guess because we were only allowed to play with those toys on Sundays. And so they were like special for us, playing with my mom's toys growing up. But they're called little kittles. And she had the like a, it's called Middle Muffet, the spider and stuff. Anyway, like little storybook dolls, and those sold for $65. There's not much. It was like the doll, a spider, a book, a pillow, and $65. Wish I had a lot more of those. And then she had another storybook doll that was not a little kiddo. It is called a storybook doll, and I only had the doll. I didn't have the rest of the parts. But she also sold for $47. And I'm pretty sure she's German too. Yes. And so all of these sold really quickly. They did really, really well. She had a bunch of like little tiny cups and saucers, and it was going to be a lot to set up and sort through and kind of like look into, research, and so I put it off for a long time. I had found that this green pair did pretty good, and it sold, so I listed it by itself and it sold for $20 by itself, and it sold pretty quickly, so I was really happy with that. But then I kind of set like the rest of them aside, and I just listed them a few weeks ago, and they actually ended up selling within 2 days for the full asking price. So there were several, I don't know, 15 or 18 pairs, and I ended up selling them for $35 altogether, but they sold again in like 2 days, and so I was really happy with that. If I had known, I would have listed them months ago. But they're sold and they're off to their new homes, so that's what matters. And then she had these, my aunt had these little collectible elephants, ceramic or porcelain elephants from England. And they ended up being the most valuable item that she had, and they still surprised me. Every one of these surprised me with how valuable they are. I had got them listed, and then as I was like putting them away, I found the one had a little chip or broken off the end of its trunk, and so I ended up having to adjust the listing and then lower the price a little bit. But they still sold, these little elephants still sold for $200 for the set, and they sold again pretty quickly. So I was really happy with that. I'm just sad that one of the elephants was missing its trunk. So it could have been worth more had it been whole. And then most recently, she gave me, I went for Thanksgiving, and she gave me a few more things. She had these Warner Brothers collectible Pepsi glasses from 1973. She only had 3 of them, but when I looked them up, they were worth something. They're all worth different amounts. And so the most expensive one, the Slowpoke Rodriguez one, was selling for $91 was the max price, and there were a bunch listed. So I was afraid it was going to sit for a little while, but I was okay to hang on to it. And she'd had these stored for 40 years. I never used them, and so it was in pristine condition. I listed it at $85 and was willing to wait on it, and it sold in just a few days for the full price. I do accept offers on almost all of my listings, but the last several have sold for full price, which I'll take it. And then she had the vintage Henry Hawk collector Pepsi glass, and that one was not worth as much. Again, the most they were selling for was like $40, and since it was in pristine condition, stored for 40 years, never used while they had it, I listed it at $35 plus shipping. And again, it sold within just a few days, even though there were dozens of other ones listed. I just made sure to take really good pictures and describe it well and see what happens. And it did really good. So I have one left, which is the Beaky Buzzard. And he's only worth about $12, and there were a bunch of them listed, so I'm not thinking that he'll sell near as quickly as the other ones have, but they are still so much fun. So I am very happy with what I've gotten from these toys. There's a bunch more that I had either not taken pictures of or forgot to document the price, and I wish I had done that, but these are the most like unique and fun ones. And so I'll end with this little slot car. There are a bunch of slot cars listed, but this particular one I could not find. And there's such a range. They will sell for, you know, anywhere from, you know, $10, $20 all the way on up to $400. And so I was just like, I couldn't find this one. And so I had no idea how much it was worth. But again, it looked in pretty good condition, and I had the little box and everything. And so I had started it at $300 and just kind of lowered the price as time went on. I had it listed for a few months because I was willing to wait to get the most that I could for it. And it's small, and so it's not hard to store. But it ended up selling for $150, and I'm still very happy with that. I think that was fair, and I know it will be, you know, valued and appreciated in its new home. And so I only have a few of her toys and collectibles left, maybe 3 or 4 out of a few dozen, and almost every one of them sold quickly within, you know, days to 3 to 4 months. And the ones that took longer probably because I had them listed pretty high. And so I am sad that they're all gone, but they did really, really well, and thought that I should share that with anybody who, you know, was about to go through their old toys and collectibles, especially vintage items or, you know, German toys. And then if you had not thought about selling those before, maybe keep your eye out for those. They are not trash. My mom and my aunt both thought they were not worth anything, and they would just end up donating them. And they are very collectible. And so if you've been on eBay long, been a reseller long, you probably knew that. But if you aren't, it's maybe you didn't know that, like we didn't know that. So just look up anything before you start, you know, to donate it. And if you don't want to resell it, I understand that, but there is definitely a lot of interest there. And so I hope that this will be helpful in giving you some more things to look out for. And again, if I could sell these exclusively, I would, but there are not a lot of estate sales in my area, and as soon as my aunt runs out of things to give me, I don't know, maybe I'll start asking around. I don't know. I would love to figure out how to source more of these items. They're so much fun.